Welcome to Flow. Let's get started. Today we'll start off lying down. Bring your feet about the width of your mat. Knock your knees together. Bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. And take these first few moments to bring your focus to the movement of your breath. With every inhale, feel the expansion of your ribs, the expansion of your belly. And with every exhale, allow yourself to sink a little bit heavier into the ground. Release the tops of your shoulders. Feel your shoulders melt away from each other into the mat. Bend your knees into your chest. Take a few moments here. We're going to start off with a little bit of activation into the backs of your legs and your glutes. Bring your feet back down to the mat. Keep your left foot planted. Lift your right foot. Push your hips up. Lower your hips, lower your right foot. Do that again. Push down into the left foot as you lift the hips and lift the right foot. And then bring the hips and the foot down. We take this about 10 times. This exercise can be a little more dynamic or energized today. Really push down into your left foot. Let your hips come as high as they can up off the ground. And your right hip comes into flexion as your knee pulls up to a tabletop. Take a few more of these. Try to go a little bit quicker. And then after your 10th time, keep your right foot down, lift your left foot to tabletop, and take 10 one-legged bridges. So you're pushing down with your right foot as you lift your hips and you lift your left knee towards your chest. Starting to feel a nice bit of activation into the back of your body, into your right hamstring, possibly moving up to your right glute. And just notice maybe some sensation into the front of your left hip flexor. 10 times total here. After your last one, bring your hips down. Pull your knees into your chest. Bring yourself upright, and we move to a tabletop position. Getting a bit warmer in the hips. Lift your right knee, bend your right knee in half, and then pull your knee to your chest. And take that again. The right leg goes back behind you and then pulls to your chest. So we're really focusing on the range of motion of flexion and extension through the right hip. So that may include a bit of movement through the spine or into the upper spine. But more than anything, think of this movement happening in your right hip. Try to keep it completely parallel. Maybe tempting to kind of let the right knee turn out to the side, but try to keep it totally parallel. Find a few more of these and then switch to the opposite side. So your left knee lifts up, and then you just start to move through the left hip. We think flexion and extension, maybe a little bit of movement through the spine as you find a deep contraction. But it's more about allowing your hip to find some release here and maybe even an increase in range of motion. You can kind of let this be a little floppy. Keep going here with this sensation of kind of swinging movement into the left hip. Find a few more. And then after your last one, we'll move to tabletop. So your left knee will come down to the mat. We'll move through cat and cow. Arch your spine, lift your gaze, lift your chin. Exhale, cat spine, push into the ground, dome through your upper back. Take that again. Arch your spine, lift your gaze. And exhale for cat spine, round through your upper spine. Pull your chin to your chest. Find one more of these. Getting a good amount of fluidity into your spine. And after this last one, flip your toes under and move to downward facing dog. Lift your hips up into the air. Take one huge breath here to establish your posture. We're going to expand that idea of hip flexion and extension. Lift your right leg up. And then step your right foot so it comes about halfway forward. So it doesn't need to come all the way up to your wrist, but it will come halfway forward. From here, launch off of your back foot and come into an assisted warrior 3. So keep a soft bend of your bottom knee. Lift your left leg up off the ground. You can find a little lift with your chest. And then reverse it. So your left foot comes back down to the mat. You come back to a 3-legged dog. We repeat this. The right foot steps halfway forward. The left leg lifts, the left leg lowers, and the right leg lifts. Take this a few more times. Step your right foot forward, lift your left leg, lower your left toes, downward facing dog. Take it again. Step your right foot forward. Lift your left leg. Lower your left toes. Downward facing dog. And again, step your right foot forward. Lift your left foot. Lower your left foot. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward. Lift your left foot and this time hold here. So you've got to bend through your bottom knee. Start to walk your hands up your right shin, up your right thigh. Bring your hands onto your right thigh and then pull your left knee up towards your chest and then step your left foot back behind you for a lunge. Pull your left knee up, step the foot behind you. So I know we're feeling something into that right leg and that's okay. Again, emulating the sensation of walking, kind of exaggerating our walking movement and finding a bigger range of motion into flexion and extension of each hip. Take a few more of these. Every time that you stand up, push down into your bottom right foot. Now hold the left knee up. Hands can come to prayer. Extend the left leg back behind you. Bring your hands to your right thigh. And then pull your left knee back up. Do it again. I know this isn't nothing. Right hands come to right thigh. Left knee comes up. So it's a little bit of a running man kind of balance. You could keep a bend through your left knee as you pendulum forwards and backwards. So think of your chest and your femur bone as in the same line, pretty much the whole time. Find a few more of these. I know our right glute is speaking to you. Last time, left leg, pendulums back. And now step your left foot to meet your right foot. Ragdoll forward fold. Your feet can be slightly separated, soften your knees. Bring your thumbs to your hip creases. Inhale, find a halfway lift. And with this one, think your thumbs are pulling your hips so far back while the crown of your head continues to traction forward. And then release back, forward fold. Find this again. Thumbs pull back, head reaches forward. And release, forward fold. Keep this bend with your knees. Inhale, halfway lift, thumbs pull back, head reaches forward. Exhale, forward fold. Twice more. Think of this rolling through your spine as you come up to your halfway lift, rolling back down your spine. And one more time, halfway lift, pull your thumbs into your wrist creases. Forward fold, release, hands down, downward facing dog. Give yourself a few moments in downward facing dog before we set up on our second side. Take some big breaths here. Accentuate the length through the backs of your legs. Lift your left leg. Step your left foot so it comes halfway forward. So it doesn't have to come all the way. Keep the bend of your bottom knee. Lift your right ankle. Bring your right foot back down. Three-legged dog. Extension through the left hip. Find it again. Step your left foot forward. Lift your right ankle. Bring your right foot down. Three-legged dog, left leg up into the air. Find a few more of these and appreciate the motion that's happening through your hips, both hips here, experiencing flexion and extension. And it may be something that you're really used to, but try to pay a little more attention and be very intentional with where you're placing your feet and how your hips are operating. Find a few more here. Right foot down, downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward, lift your right foot, and now this time hold here. Start to walk your hands up your left ankle towards your left thigh. Pull your right knee to your chest, come all the way up to stand one-legged mountain. Step your right foot back behind you for a lunge. And then bring your right knee up and continue to move between these two. Think of like a plunging movement. Every time you're back in that lunge, think you have to push down so hard into your left foot to bring your right knee up to your chest. Takes a lot of balance, takes a lot of strength into that left glute. Find a few more of these. And now next time, keep your right knee up. And then hands can come to prayer. Bring your right leg back, bring your hands to your left thigh, pitch your body over. And then pendulum, your right knee comes back up. Take this again, soft bend through your bottom knee, hands to front left thigh. And then pendulum yourself up. That same plunging idea of actively pushing your left foot down into the ground so you can lift your torso and find shoulders over hips. Find a few more of these. Maintain bend through both of your knees. You're nice and tall through the tops of your ears, through the crown of your head. Very strong through the core as well. Now, last one, your right leg is back behind you. Place your right foot next to your left foot. Bring your hands to the ground. We're in a forward fold. Separate your feet, bend your knees. Now this time, walk your fingertips as far away from your heels as you can, and think of a tractioning movement. So try to bring a little more weight into your heels, even though you've got your fingertips out long in front of you. And we're finding this beautiful traction through your spine. Your hips are pulling away from your fingers. You're getting this nice lengthening through each vertebrae. Send breath into the side lower back. Send breath into the space between your shoulder blades. Take a little movement of your head if you're holding on to some tension in your neck. Walk your fingers back towards your feet. Keep the bend of your knees. Slowly roll up to stand. And notice how your hips and your pelvis align as you roll up. Your shoulders, chin, gaze are last. Give yourself a few moments of free movement here. That could be through the shoulders, through the head. And when you're ready, let your arms dangle heavy to your sides. Allow your eyes to close and give yourself one final breath. Thank you for joining us today. And that's your flow.